Yo, it's your boy LOZA. Today we're looking at Matt's Dark Magician deck list. What's crazy about this is I've actually talked to Matt quite a bit on the Dark Magician Facebook group, and we don't see eye to eye on everything, but that's okay. Because what he supplied me with here today is an hour and 43-minute video, but it's fucking amazing. It's probably the most in-depth and relevant Dark Magician. I don't know anything. I just realized my camera is blocking some of the list. Probably one of the most relevant videos I've been sent. Um, just in the sense that he's so in depth about everything. And I'm going to put his link in the description. I urge you all to watch it. I know it's an hour and 43 minutes, but here's the best thing you can do. I put it on when I was driving to work. I put it on when I was going for my morning run. Like, if you can just find, like, treat it like a podcast, essentially, is what I'm saying. Because you only need to look at the deck list once. Like, there's a deck list here, and he's just going to talk about it for pretty much the first hour and 20. And then at the end, he's going to talk about his deck list going forward, which just changes a couple of cards, as you know, Illusion of Chaos and whatnot. So if you just look at those two lists, you'll know what he's talking about. And like if you play Dark Magician, you'll know what he's talking about. So you can pretty much just look at his list, you go cool, and then you do whatever you have to do and play this and listen to it. It's one of the best things I've listened to recently. Um, and yeah, I don't know, it's just good. Please go and check it out. I know it can be intimidating because of the length. I'm actually trying to cut down the length of my videos, so hopefully this video doesn't go too long. So I'm going to highlight all the areas of this video that I think are amazing. I do urge you to go watch it though. Anyway, with all that out of the way, my first point is to listen to his Red Eyes Fusion stuff. But first,
Hey everyone, my name is Matt, and today I'm going to be going over Dark Magician profile for
whoop,
October 2021. I'll not only be going over the current Dark Magician deck profile, but a potential future one as well with
all right, I'm going to
the
skip
new support coming
to
out.
Red Eyes
And
Fusion stuff.
it sucks, but let's say you're going second.
He
You
means
use
getting
Red Eyes
ashed.
Fusion, and they
That
pop one of
sucks.
their non-ash negates. Like maybe they use Solemn Judgment, maybe they use I don't know, Morload, Savage Dragon or whatever. They use some Omni Negate to stop Rash Fusion. If you have a second one in your hand, you can actually activate it because
Exactly what he said. Like having multiple ref is just so good playing second. It's absolutely cracked. More to that, having like Magician's Rod and Souls after that's even better because like that is a way to Anaconda, which is a way to Dragoon. And if you force them to negate this Red Eyes Fusion, you're having a great time.
Ash is the only one problem card that negates the effect of Red Eyes Fusion,
Hmm.
right? So you cannot activate Red Eyes Fusion again, and you can't, whereas, and if you get negated by a negate that says negates the activation, you can actually, on the same turn, just play a second one
Oh
immediately,
yeah,
right? Like,
it's so
let's say you
good.
open two in
It's
hand.
so good.
Oh no, it's a brick. Like, it's not a brick because
It's never.
you can either play one, it doesn't get negated by anything, and then the other one is just discard fodder for Dragoon, or discard fodder for a Souls on a future turn, right? Or B, like,
Literally.
you're going second. They have a bunch of negates, whatever negate you want, solemn judgment, whatever, and then you play your first, bait the negate, and then you play your second, and you're good to go, right?
It's just like he just described it perfectly. Red Eyes Fusion is a 3 of. If you open multiple playing second, you can bait negates with them. If you and like obviously if Red Eyes Fusion resolves, cool, you have Dragoon. If it doesn't, cool, you can then use the rest of your hand. Like he just sums it up perfectly. And yeah, it's never a brick because people are like, oh, but then you have Dead Red Eyes Fusion in your hand if you have Dragoon. It's like, who the fuck cares? You have Dragoon, you need a discard, you discard that other Red Eyes Fusion. You can even souls it away. Like it's just so good, and he's absolutely right. 3 is the ratio you should be playing. If you're not on that, please at least play 2. I know some people like 1, but like that's only if you're really playing like a combo version of the deck or like extenders out the arse version, which I have seen. And I'm not saying that's bad. I'm just saying if you're playing a more trap based version, play 3 ref. It's pretty straightforward. He's going to talk about secrets and magic eyes. I'm going to skip to secrets actually here. Yep, should be about here.
I feel like I have to make that clear. Secrets of Dark Magic. Okay, I know LOZA is not a fan of this card, but
Yeah.
I still am. Mostly because
I don't
I
mind
have been
it
in
at 1.
situations where, like, let's say I did open one of these bricks, Dark Magician Girl or Red Eyes Black Dragon, then if I also have a Secrets of Dark Magic or maybe a Rod, I can either go into Dragoon or into the Dark Magicians, which is not the end of the world. And the Dark Magicians, yeah, it's not a great fusion. Like, I would rather not end on it, although ending on it is not the end of the world. But um, it is an extender. Maybe the draw one.
So far everything he said about secrets is like, I'm not that phased. Like, yeah, you can make Dragoon and the Dark Magicians, but you're making it like with more resources than you normally would. So it's like, whatever. Like, I know that secrets is searchable, and that's why I think if you played at 1, fine, go for it. But I just really wish we had a better one, a better fusion card. But it's alright. We do get that Timaeus verse, but I feel like it suffers kind of the same problem where you have to discard a card, and I know you can send Salvation from field to summon it, but then like you need to have the Dark Magician as well to fuse with it. So it's like you still need 3 cards, like regardless of Salvation being like, if Salvation sets Soul, I know that it's like it's done its job, but it still like needs 3 cards. You know, it's kind of got the same problem as Secrets. But it is searchable through Illusion of Chaos instead of Rod, which Secrets obviously searchable. Why? But the point of why I put this here is not to shit on Secrets. I think people who play Secrets, like, that's fine. But Matt is about to make a fucking crazy point. Like, it could be a niche scenario, but it's definitely happened to me where my Dragoon's been hit by forbidden droplets. And he's gonna make this great fucking scenario where Secrets fucking not only helps you negate the droplets. Oh, sorry, sorry. The scenario is like Dragoon's negating something and they're chaining droplets. So not only does this scenario let your Dragoon resolve by still negating, it also gets you another Dragoon, a different Dragoon. And I've just never thought of this. Like, it wouldn't come up all the time, but like as a Dark Magician player, you got to know like all your branching paths. I don't know. It's just important because we're a rogue deck that you kind of know all interactions. And I did not know this. There's a lot of things in this video I did not know, and that's why I think you should listen. Because there's either stuff that I've known and done subconsciously and never spoken about, or it's just stuff I straight up didn't think of. So this guy's kind of a genius. So let's just let him say the bit.
One that you get is Souls, right? And then you can use Souls and the Dark Magician's fusion to go into Anaconda, right? So it's I know that's situational, but I like Secrets, and also Secrets in the current, before the new Battle of Chaos stuff comes out, is the main way you get into the Dark Magician Dragonite.
Yep, that's true.
Because I run I'm Duck.
I'm Duck, good.
Technically, you could go into a second Dragoon as well, but if you really need the back row protection or just want to have that to cycle through with like Magician Circle,
like protecting summon limit's pretty
like,
big, so I get it.
It's good. It's fine. Like it's I don't know. I never felt like it lost me a game. But yeah, I get like the appeal that you're spending like 3 cards in your hand to bring out one fusion monster. One other thing I do like about this is the quick playability. The fact that if you can go into battle phase, you can dish out tons of damage. Maybe even just OTK your opponent.
Yeah, that is a good use of it, but I want to hear the big one.
This for. If you set Secrets of Dark Magic on your opponent's turn, if you have Dragoon on your field, you can use, and let's say you use Dragoon's negate, or maybe let's say your opponent used Forbidden Droplets to make your Dragoon's effect negated, or like back to 1500 attack or whatever. If you use Secrets of Dark Magic, you can actually fuse your Dragoon with a Dark Magician, either in your hand or brought back from the graveyard through Eternal Soul to make a second Dragoon, and now you have a second Dragoon negate. Active, or you'd have a second Dragoon that is not affected by like Forbidden Droplet or Dark Ruler no more, for example.
Now you might be thinking, how the fuck does Secrets make a new Dragoon out of a Dragoon and a Dark Magician in your hand? Don't forget that anytime you summon Dragoon, either off Anaconda or Red Eyes Fusion, which is like 99% of the time the way you will summon it, its name is actually Red Eyes Black Dragon on the field. Yeah. Its name is Red Eyes Black Dragon. That is in the text of Red Eyes Fusion. So after you fusion summon a monster that lists Red Eyes in its material, using monsters from hand deck field as fusion material, if you do, its name becomes Red Eyes Black Dragon. That's a permanent name change, by the way. I think it only goes away if it's like flipped down and up. So that's a really niche thing, and people are going to try shock you on it, I feel. They're going to be like, you can't make Dragoon out of Dragoon and Dark Magician. And you just got to be like, hey, man, it's a Red Eyes. Its name's Red Eyes, and Dragoon needs Red Eyes, so what you gonna do?
I know that doesn't come up a lot, but the few times it has really saved my ass.
I like that. That's a
One of
really cool scenario because droplets is very commonly used on Dragoon. He does talk about triple tactics here, and I do salute this. I think tactics is great because like you're gonna get hand trapped. And also he talks about tactics going second being really good. I'm just gonna skip ahead again because it's hard to cover everything in a short time. We're gonna get to his section on Soul Servant, which I do quite enjoy.
draw two part and just let you do the top of deck one. But yeah, this is just a great card. A few things people don't realize is that if you open
Here we go.
Servant with the Magician's Souls in your starting hand, this can go into Anaconda. Why? Summon Souls by dumping Dark Magician Girl, then use Soul Servant to put Rod on top of your deck. Then you have two options: either use Souls to ditch another magic spell or trap card in your hand to draw the Rod, or immediately banish Servant to draw one and get your Rod. Right?
I have never told you guys this. I have subconsciously done it in tournaments where I've stacked Rod and then drawn into it. I don't think I've ever told you guys to do this, and I feel stupid for not. And it wasn't until I listened to this video in depth and went, yo, this is something I should talk about more. So, the scenario he described does come up a fair bit. Sometimes you do only just open Souls and Soul Servant and a bunch of spell traps. And you're like, well, no Dragoon, I guess. Little did I know. You can obviously stack Rod with Soul Servant. And then you can force the draw, as he said, either by sending the Soul Servant or literally just sending another spell trap. Because you'd preferably do that and try to get the draw 2 off Soul Servant later. But if you have to, you can just banish it and draw it, which is great. That's great. We have that option. He's going to talk about Upstart a bit here as well. And another thing where I went, wow, I've played Upstart in some of my builds, not all of them, which he also covers. But I normally have to cut it for a hand trap or something, or like, I don't know, something. Oh yeah, one thing is, he's not playing Skill Drain, and I would have played Skill Drain over a third summon limit, especially because I feel like Skill Drain's kind of like Strike. It's not as good as Strike, but like you could go on your opponent's turn and activate like playing second, I don't know, you could activate like, we don't have Torrential here. But I don't know, you could activate Dragoon Negate even, and they could chain like a monster effect to negate Dragoon, and you can chain summon up. I can't talk. Skill Drain. The point is, Skill Drain's really good in this deck for the same reason Summon Limit is, which he talks about a bit later. And he talks about sending Summon Limit with Souls to draw it, and then like you don't have to play under the condition of it. And it's the exact same principle as playing Skill Drain. So I would rather play Skill Drain and 2 Summon Limit just because Skill Drain really falls off past turn 1. I mean, Summon Limit and Skill Drain, they do both fall off past turn 1, but Skill Drain still wins you more games against stuff like stupid shit like Zeus Turbo, Salamangrate, not so much Virtual World. They don't really need too many field effects. I'd say it still does. You just win a lot. Like Tri Brigade could probably play. I don't know. Tri Brigade don't get their banish and stuff. So you know what? Like Skill Drain just beats every deck, even if you don't get it turn 1. You can sometimes still use it and it's effective. Whereas Summon Limit's kind of dead after turn 1, unless your opponent's bricked or something. But I don't mind it. Like I think it's a very strong Floodgate, obviously. I just don't like how hard it relies on being like winning the die roll, I suppose. But he does side them out for Nibiru's, so that kind of covers that. Like it makes sense, but yeah, it could be like you lose the die roll though, and you're playing second, and then you have them in your hand, and you're like, bruh. But that is sometimes okay once again, because if you like have Red Eyes Fusion or a way to Dragoon and you establish that Dragoon and the Dragoon pop stuff, obviously your opponent's going to need to like come back. And if you have the Summon Limit Dragoon then, like obviously you're fine. But it really just depends on how big the opponent's board is and whether you can get to a decent board, which is just Dragoon Summon Limit. But yeah, I don't know. Summon Limit, I'm not saying it's a bad card. I'm just saying I hate that it's so like first situational, which is why I've been trying to play like just the Dogma punishments along with I think Rivalry is still really good. The fact that Rivalry means you can't get Kaiju is really hot, and obviously he's playing them here too. He just sides them in when he needs them. Because he's made the point in the past as well in my comments. This is really good against like a couple of decks that are popular, like not so much. Oh no, a couple of the tier 1 decks too. But yeah, he knows that it's more situational, so it's in the side, which is fair enough. So yeah, I think that's cool. Anyway,
I prefer to do the first method, which is use Servant to put
let's go
Rod
on
on top
to
of the deck.
Upstart.
Use Soul's Effect to, let's say, throw one of your other spells or traps that are not so important away to draw the Rod, and then go into Anaconda, Dragoon, and once you made Dragoon, you can then banish Soul's Servant to get your draw too. So
All right, here it
yeah,
goes.
so Rod and gives you Anaconda and Dragoon, and Souls and Soul Servant also gives you Anaconda and Dragoon.
But yeah, I like his deck
Okay,
list a lot.
Upstart Goblin. I don't recall, but I feel like in none of LOZA's videos did I see any mention of this card in anyone's deck profile. Like not even in his own. Maybe I'm wrong. I'd have to go back.
I've played
But
it in
definitely none of the.
like
Well, let me check. I'm
some.
pretty sure none of the.
I've never thought it was like mandatory to play. I know a couple of people have been like, "Oh, you should always play Upstart in this deck," and I'm kind of like, "Yeah, I get it. It's synergized with Circle and Soul Servant," but Matt's gonna go on to tell me even more synergies than that. So I like this. So
Other deck profiles he's roasted. Has anyone ever mentioned Upstart Goblin? But like this card is really good. And the reason for that is because first of all, it's Ash bait, and I know what you're thinking. Who in their right mind would Ash Upstart?
I disagree with this. I haven't seen anyone Ash Upstart Goblin ever in my life. Actually, maybe once. But this is kind of coming back to like he mentioned that people can Ash Circle, and it's like, yeah, they can, but that's like table 500 shit. Like at an event, I would not expect anyone to Ash Circle. Would I play it first before Red Eyes Fusion? Absolutely, just in case they do. And I think it's fine to like play Upstart before Rev just to see if they will use a response to it. Absolutely. But I think that's a 99% to like 1% kind of scenario. But anyway, he does have great points about it, so let's keep going.
Goblin. You would be surprised, is what I'm gonna say. Second of all, it thins your deck. Like so, having 40 card deck with Upstart, you have a pseudo 39 card deck. Fine. But the other great thing about this card is it synergizes really well with Dark Magical Circle and Soul Servant, right? Um, because Soul Servant, in the beginning of the duel might not be live, but if you have Soul Servant and Upstart, you can literally draw any Dark Magician card you want. And what you would do is like you play Upstart Goblin first, ask them if they want to chain, and if they don't chain, you chain Soul Servant. Why do you do that? Because
I like
let's
that.
say you do Soul Servant first, you put a card on top of your deck, then you Upstart Goblin. They're more likely to
Then
ash you,
yeah,
right? Because like, oh wait, they just put a card on top of their deck, and they're going to use Upstart Goblin to draw that card that they want. So I'm going to ash it or whatever, right? But if you play Upstart Goblin first, ask them if they want to chain, they'll be like, smarter players will be like, I'm not going to ash an Upstart Goblin. That's ridiculous. And then you yourself chain Soul Servant to it. Then you get the card you want. And it's too late for them to chain or to stop you unless they have Ghost Spell. But again, if they Ghost Spell Soul Servant, they're kind of dumb and silly. I don't know. That's just a really dumb.
hasn't happened to me yet. But wow, if someone goes spells the stacking effect of Soul 7, I will fucking cry of laughter. I mean, like
Ghost Spell target. Another thing about Upstart Goblin. Upstart Goblin plus Magician's Rod gives you Anaconda and Dragoon, right? Why is that? Well,
see, this is where it gets fucky. Rod plus Upstart gives you Dragoon. This is where he makes great points. So please play Upstart.
let's say you have Rod and Upstart Goblin in your opening hand. Um, Rod searches Soul Servant. Soul Servant puts souls on top of the deck, and Upstart Goblin draws it. Very simple.
It's simple, and yet I've never talked about it, and I haven't heard anyone else talk about it. So thank you. That is fucking genius.
Upstart Goblin is like a pseudo like fourth copy of Magician's Souls, assuming you open Rod. So it's like you want Rod and Souls as your starting two, and Upstart Goblin can get you there if you have Rod. So you have Rod and you have Upstart, you have Anaconda Dragoon. Like it's really
great.
good. Like I don't
It's
understand
crazy.
why more players don't play this, especially in Dark Magician players.
I'm gonna skip ahead again,
Other
just
interesting
because this is
interactions.
dragging out.
Dark Magical Circle, kind of a janky card because you almost never, get the card
I'm gonna skip to Topologic
because that's a
Bomber.
core to your deck. I would get Access Cook Talker, but until I get it, I'm playing this card. It's like a $1 card.
So he mainly talks about playing it just because of the budget, and yep, understandable. And yes, we can trigger it with Eternal Soul. I agree. And yeah, look, if you don't want to shell out $200, it's 200 over here in Australia, by the way, for access code. I understand. I personally don't own one physically. I just play it online. And Bomber is great, and I'm going to show you why I think Bomber is great. And he also mentions he doesn't like IP. I'm pretty sure IP Masquerena, but I'm going to show you why Bomber is good, but also IP. But I don't like IP that much either. I only like it if you're playing Bomber, and that will be evident here. This is the standard striker stuff, but you've also opened Rod and Souls. You'll love to see a hand like that. So I'm just going to go off and show you what you can do with that. So you get to your Anaconda, you're going to summon your Souls and your Rod. 2 monsters that aren't Link monsters. Do the math. It's IP. Now, obviously, you can make Unicorn as well, but that's so generic and you got to discard. So I don't really like that. I'd rather nuke the board. And I feel like this is just a much better play. So that was with 3 cards. We get to this board state. And I don't mind this. Get the Bomber, the Turtle Soul. Pew pew. You get the idea. We get Rod back to hand. I couldn't work out a way to keep Dark Magician Girl or like DM on the field there, but it's fine. You're just gonna summon Dark Magician back with Eternal Soul in your turn, and it's gonna summon Dark Magician Girl anyway, so it's fine. I'm gonna skip over this bit again just because like there's not too much to say about Bomber other than what we just summed up. We're gonna skip to Artemis because fuck yeah, this man is absolutely keen on Artemis.
I have Artemis. I hope LOZA is proud of me for this.
I fucking am.
If you're a Dark Magician player not playing Artemis,
yeah,
not
baby.
Right. It makes Rod into a 1-card Dragoon, and it also immediately makes Rod live. Like, it's just so good. There's no reason not to have an Artemis.
It's just so good. It's just so good.
And then finally, I like to run Linkuriboh. Why?
I have not run Linkuriboh. This man makes some great points. I'm going to let him talk about him, but I'm just saying, if I had the room, I would play Linkuriboh. I did not think about these 2 interactions, so I'll let him play.
Because I use Linkuriboh to summon off of the Sky Striker token. I know you could use Link Spider, but I'd rather save Link Spider for
I didn't think about that.
Link. So yeah, I'd rather have this Linkuriboh. Another cool thing about Linkuriboh, which a lot of people don't realize, let's say Linkuriboh's in your graveyard, right? And let's say you summon Magician Souls, and you use Magician Souls, you send 2 cards to the graveyard because you want to draw 2 cards, right? And then your opponent plops down Infinite Impermanence or Effect Veiler targeting Magician Souls. Oh no, I just sent 2 cards to my graveyard. I was going to draw 2. If Infinite Impermanence or Effect Veiler goes through, then I will draw nothing, and I'll just ditch 2 cards for no reason. Well, if you have Linkuriboh in your graveyard, you can chain Linkuriboh's effect, send souls to the graveyard to summon this, and then you get your draw 2, and they just wasted a hand trap. You'd be surprised how often that comes up, but it's just useful.
Big
right?
brain.
Like,
so that means
dinos, they give you the Dino token.
That means anytime you're opening the Striker package, and you get to Souls later, you always should have this Linkuriboh engraved, so your Souls can always send cards, and then you get hand trapped. You go, yeah, cool, chain Linkuriboh, because it is a quick effect. Tribute to level 1, special summon this card. That's actually so nuts. I've never thought about this once again, and it's crazy. This is why I urge you, go watch his video. He's kind of a G. A big genie ass. We're going to skip ahead once more because I don't want this video to drag out too long. I'm going to get to him talking about the side, which is Dark Ruler no more. I'm not really talking about his lists because they're just good. Like,
overrated nothing in this deck anyway. Like, you don't have that many graveyard effects. Dark Ruler no more. You open it.
So yeah, the convo that's been in the Discord a bit is like Dark Ruler versus Droplets. What's better going second? And Matt is very heavy Dark Ruler, and he makes the great point of you don't need to discard, like you don't need to send anything, like it's just as simple as that. And Dark Magician normally isn't going to OTK, so the coolest thing about this is you can just, Dark Ruler, get rid of all their shit, pop it with Dragoon, and just, Dragoon, he says, outs 3 cards, which is true, because you got pop, and then you got swing. And yeah, you're doing no damage, but you're clearing the board, which means you're gaining control. And that's what we're all about, right? We're Dark Magician. We just want board control. So board presence and it can swing you back in the game, and I think that's totally relevant. The only downside is, I don't know, like Dark Ruler feels so shit against Tri Brigade. I know they finished on Appaloosa, but like I think it's still worth it. Like as you said, like it outs like the Drytron board, it outs I don't know, just like every board really. It doesn't really out stuff like Salad's board because they're mainly back row, but that's fine. I guess he's not playing Lightning Storm because he prefers Rejeki Dark Hole, and like yeah, Duster, which I understand. Like Lightning Storm's hella expensive once again, and like he made a great point that Lightning Storm needs everything to be in attack mode, and people are going to be summoning in defense mode to play around it, and you can just be like lol Regeki Dark Hole, and people will just be like, bruh. Obviously, this doesn't out problem cards like Dragoon, but it does out problem cards like Zeus, so that's what's kind of nutty. Like, we can out some really annoying things with this. So don't sleep on cards like Regeki Dark Hole. I played Regeki in my locals last week, and it outed an Omen and just some other Tri Brigade card, but he had none banished because he just revolted, so it was actually really good. Like, sometimes Regeki and Dark Hole just get the job done. Like, don't sleep on old shit cards. But yeah, it's interesting. I'm gonna skip to him talking about prep now, just because it's in his new build, so you can see his new build real quick. And yep,
These will be 3 ofs, no exceptions.
no exceptions. 3.
These are just
Big brain.
3 more copies of Rod or Souls, like straight up. We put in 3
Spin facts.
Preparation of Rites. Preparation of Rites searches Illusion of Chaos, so that's 3 more copies of Rod or Souls, right? And also with playtesting, I found that Illusion of Chaos and Preparation of Rites are great ash baits. So you just have more ash baits in your deck, right? Like,
look how many cards we have that could be ashed, like before normal summoning. I'm talking about. We've got Double Circle, which people are dumb if they hand trap that. We've got Upstart, once again, probably not going to happen. We've got 3 prep. That could come up. That could get ashed. We've got 3 Red Eyes Fusion, obviously. But that's what we want to play later. And then we've got Illusion of Chaos. So we've got like a solid number of cards that might be ashed. Terraforming too. Solid couple of cards that might be ashed. And that's super good here. Because yeah, as he said, sometimes people do ash you. And then you have the Red Eyes Fusion and they cry. It's really good.
Yeah, I'm okay with them ashing one of these 2 cards. Because if you ash Illusion of Chaos, guess what? You still have the card next turn. It doesn't go to graveyard.
That too.
So they send an ash to
that
their graveyard,
too.
And then you got
card advantage.
You still have this card in your hand, like it's just hilarious ash bait. And then you Red Eyes Fusion, and they're like, oh, I ashed the wrong card.
It's so true, but it's also like card advantage wise, just incorrect for them to ever ash Illusion of Chaos. Like they should never ash Illusion of Chaos. And like the cool thing is playing prep. Obviously, we have Soravis, and my man's does talk about Soravis a little bit. I think he's about to. But yeah.
1 copy of Soravis.
Yep, here it is.
Soravis is a hand trap, and LOZA's talked about Soravis before, and
oh yeah,
LOZA's the one that convinced me to put this card in. It's a 1 of because it's searchable through Preparation of Rites, so it's effectively a 4 of because it's a ritual monster.
Yeah, boy.
And it's a card that protects Anaconda, right? It doesn't protect it as well as like the Sky Striker Eagle Booster card because this card says when a monster is targeted, right? Then you can chain this to so you can protect Anaconda against Effect Veiler and against Imperm, but you can no longer, protect it against Gamma, which is what Eagle Booster used to protect it. Honestly,
the good thing there is like Gamma's only really in Virtual World and Dragon Link right now, so it feels pretty safe to know when you can resolve Soravis. But I guess, yeah, just the other thing is sometimes you do open Illusion of Chaos and Prep, and it just gives you, it's nice to have that option to go for Soravis instead. The other thing is, if you like are in a matchup where you don't need Soravis, you can obviously side it out. But the other thing is you can hold the Prep for next turn, and then Prep will obviously grab you Illusion of Chaos on the next turn. So, yeah, I don't know. People who don't play 3 Prep, it's kind of wild. I do understand that, like, if you want to see a card that, like, at 1, the correct, like, you want to see 1 in your hand, the correct ratio to play is 5. I can show you the math for that later, but, like, Yishan and a bunch of other YouTubers have gone over it. But, yeah, the cool thing is, the dumb thing is people cut their preps to 2 and 3 Illusion of Chaos. And that's because they're like, oh, I was always clogging my hand. And in my opinion, like, if you were gonna cut a card, then in that scenario, you'd cut an Illusion of Chaos, because it's not, sorry, it's once per turn, and preparation is not. So to me, it's just weird that people. I get it's a Dark Magician card, so you think you got to play to 3, but that's fucking every Dark Magician player's logic. So I think you would honestly cut this to 2, and you'd play prep at 3. That's my, if you thought you were clogging on it. But everyone just seems to take the prep out. I'm like, why would you take out the card that's not once per turn? It just doesn't make sense to me, but sure. Anyway, that's all we got time for in this video. It's already 30 minutes, god fucking damn. But please go check out Matt. He's a fabulous player and a great Dark Magician duelist. We'll be following him in the future and wishing him big success at the events he plays in. So thank you, Matt, for sending this in, and thank you for giving me the time to chat with you about stuff, because it's just been really good to kind of see eye to eye on more of the Dark Magician stuff. So yeah, in conclusion, I really like his lists. He's a good player. You'll notice we didn't do any roasting, really. Like, aside from playing Skill Drain, that's the only thing I want him to play. I don't really think anything else needs to change. But yeah, go watch his video, and peace.